So you got a couple minutes. We're going to show you some information here as we head into age reversing health. Got a really cool information coming here from LifeWave. So hang in there and join us back here in 2 minutes for age reversing health.
A life empowered is closer than you think. We're all looking for a better way. Reimagine what's next with a new sense of exuberance. Why not power on like you mean it? Or power off blissfully? A better sleep is a better awake. You've never moved like this before. With the energy nature intended. Imagine reprogramming the way you look. At the speed of science. At longevity. At exhilaration. It's next level rejuvenation. Take control of your well-being. From the inside out.
Ooh.
And outside in. The light within is ready to ignite. Be the light. LifeWave.
Welcome to Age Reversing Health, where we discuss ways to help you go far beyond just surviving this life. With practical and proven solutions to literally turning the clock back on aging so you can live your best life. Live younger for longer. Now, here's your hosts, Carl Krebs and Judy Friesen.
Hello, welcome to Age Reversing Health, part of our Things That Matter podcast every Thursday here at 6:30 Manitoba time. And in this next 30 minutes, Judy Friesen, my esteemed health coach expert of 38 years, is going to join me in studio. And we're going to talk about something I think a lot of people are pretty revved up about, and that is natural health products. Judy, welcome to the show. How are you, my dear?
Hey there, Carl. I am doing great and glad to be with you tonight.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you here. And it was last week that we caught wind of a bill the opposition party is moving through the House of Commons, and it is to stop, to thwart, to push back on what the federal government is doing to our natural health products. Before we play that little segment, is there some way you want to introduce it to us? Because I think you've been following it as close as I have.
Yeah, we deserve to have good health in this country, and we've often not been given what we should have. And there's been many natural products that have been taken off the shelf or had erroneous, crazy reasons why we can't have them. And so we need to stand up. We need to fight for those of us who feel like we want to take our health sometimes into our own hands and to protect it and to keep our bodies strong and healthy.
You know, Judy, you and I can remember, and so many of our listeners can remember what happened when we went through the first COVID. And, to our disadvantage, many of us were naive. We were trusting. We believed that what we were being told was necessary. Some people had their guard up pretty early and said, I don't think so. But then when we saw the restriction of things like ivermectin, something that had been on the market, proven, and was now being restricted, we knew something was up. The gig was up then, and we saw that the federal government and Health Canada is really all about Sick Canada, because when you look at COVID-19 and the things that were early introduced, that fresh air, sunshine, getting that vitamin D, getting our supplements into our body, and suddenly we're in lockdown. Now that's when people's really their hackles went up and they said, whoa, just a second here. When did fresh air become bad for me? When did exposure to sun when is that bad? And you talked about it in the last show, that we really up north here need that vitamin D to be stimulated by our bodies, because our bodies don't actually do a download from the sun the way some people think. It's our body being stimulated to produce vitamin D. So, and now we see, kind of, it's like the Wizard of Oz. We see what's going on behind the scenes, and we're not that dumb anymore. To be kind to ourselves, we're a lot more aware of what's going on. I want to play this here because I think it's great. I know a lot of people might not have seen it, but let's get into this and then we'll talk about it.
Sounds good.
Okay, hey everyone, Michelle Freire here, Member of Parliament for Peterborough Kawartha, and I have some
1 second.
great news. We're outside in the lobby. We're doing late night votes here at the House of Commons, fighting for you, fighting for affordability, and calling out the Liberal NDP on their outrageous tricks that they continue to do. But, pressure builds diamonds. You guys hear me say that all the time, and that's what we do here. We hold the line and we keep the pressure on. And one of the biggest stories that has come through since I was elected here was the complete overreach by the Liberals and NDP to take away your supplements. So this is how insane everything is right now. Crack, heroin, meth, these things are legal or, decriminalized. Yet there was a movement by the Liberals and the NDP to take away your access to vitamin D, folic acid, B12, your natural health supplements, things that you use every single day. Well, luckily, you have many warriors and many fighters in the Conservative caucus, one of whom is sitting beside me right now. And his name is Blaine Calkins. Blaine!
How you doing, Michelle?
I'm so excited for you. Big day. So you brought forward a private member's bill called Bill C-368, which was basically going to undo the damage that the Liberals and NDP had done with preventing Canadians' access to their natural health supplements. It was one of the biggest overreaches we've ever seen. Thousands and thousands of emails from all of you. Thank you. You spammed your MPs' boxes. They did so much work. And you put forward this bill, C-368. It went to Health Committee.
That's right.
And the NDP tried to kibosh this.
They did.
Peter Julian.
Peter Julian moved a motion, an amendment that actually would have basically killed the bill. It was a wrecking motion that would have undid all of the hard work that everybody has done up until this point. But luckily today, we forced him to withdraw. And again, ended up voting against his own amendment. Actually, I've never seen that in 19 years of Parliament. But look, this is a credit to the Health Food Association, the NHPPA, but most of all of you out there that want to have access to your supplements, your vitamins, the things that I use, that my family uses, that lots of families use, 80% of Canadian families use, to take control and have some semblance of control over our own healthcare choices. So it's been a great day. That bill made it through the Health Committee and is going to be reported back to the House for third reading debate in due course. So we were able to stave off the NDP and Liberals' attempts to gut Bill C-368, and it's passed at the.
That's awesome, Blaine. It's a huge day, a huge win. Pressure builds diamonds. Hold the line.
All right. Well, Judy, there is, and I think it's still flying very much under the radar. The natural health products of Canada are under siege by our present government. And until I guess we have a shift in Ottawa and a shift in thinking and a shift in leadership, and we prioritize what is natural, this is going to continue. Is it not? I mean, you've been in the healthcare industry for 38 years.
Yeah, exactly, Carl. The issue really is money. Money is the root of all evil. And the pharmaceutical industry is threatened when people are able to take care of their own health through natural means. And they throw at us all kinds of scary things. Well, there might be toxins in it, or it's not been regulated, or you don't know what the label says is truly in the vitamin that you're taking, and blah, blah, blah. But truly, they are very scared that Canadians are actually able to improve their health, and they'll be less likely to be on medicine, on prescriptions. And that's the thing, is it's cutting into the bottom line profits. Now, yes, once in a while, you do need a prescription. You do need medicine. I'm not saying we don't need our healthcare system. I'm not saying that if you're in a car accident, you don't need to go to surgery. But when it comes to day after day after day, we know that we're not eating well. We know that our foods are not even ripened on trees anymore. They're picked green and then sent to us. We know that there's all kinds of additives. Why wouldn't we want to take that kind of smart move by adding a few key supplements to our regime, because we can't get them in just eating right? And they're taking that a lot of that away. It really smells like there's something going on. And I would
Yeah.
submit that it's because they really have a problem of seeing us cut into their proceeds that come from the sale of these billion-dollar companies that make all of our drugs.
Well, you're absolutely right. It is the love of money that is the root of all evil. And when we see this, the pharmaceutical companies, I mean, we bless them for the times that they have come through with drugs that are life-saving. I mean, I applaud that. But there is an insatiable appetite out there. And I think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. knows it well, as he points out to how many places and how many different ways the pharmaceutical industry is vested into, right from the education of our doctors. Right from there, it starts. And then it goes into all of the ways they influence the doctor's practice. And it was a long time ago. I had a neighbor, and he worked for a very large pharmaceutical company. His job was just to entertain doctors. His job was to be on the trips all over the place. And I saw him. He was never at home. And then I looked into it. How many billions of dollars are invested in the in conventions that are held in exotic places where doctors go? And who do they think about when it comes to writing that script? The company that took them on this exotic thing. There's huge conflict of interest here. And our federal government is complicit in the assault against the natural health products in Canada. That's why I refer to them as Sick Canada, because the job is to keep you dependent on a never-ending treadmill of pills. And so when we're talking about age-reversing health, and I love what you said, you've said it a few times, when we take Tylenol, it's not because we're deficient on Tylenol, all right? Let's get that straight. And the things that are natural occurring in our body, things like glutathione, things like carnosine, all the different things, there's natural ways to get our body to be stimulated to produce that. And when that raises up, when those levels are raised, it's a pretty wonderful thing happens. So I've given you a couple things there, glutathione and carnosine. Wow, and there are natural ways to get our bodies to start producing it.
Yeah, these are called antioxidants, and your body needs antioxidants because we know that oxidative stress, or oxygen, is really a bad thing. Think about it. When you cut open an apple, what happens when you leave it on the counter for half an hour? Why does it start to turn brown? Because it's oxidizing. The antioxidants that are the biflavonoids, the good stuff that's in the apple, it reacts with the air, with the oxygen in the air, and it starts to degrade. And then if you leave the apple long enough, what happens to that? It starts to turn like, spoiled, and you have to throw it out. Well, what do
you just to interrupt you mentioned apples, and I have some experience being in the business I was in, hauling fresh produce. And I remember the first time I went to pick up a load of apples, and I saw these massive barns. But I wasn't going there. But there were row upon row of barns. And as I'm in the loading dock, the guy's real friendly. I asked what kind of apples they produce in that area. He told me. And I said, so what's with the big barns over there? He says, that's where we store the apples. I said, oh, well, for how long? He says, you're picking up apples that were picked a year ago. The apples that you are getting on your produce shelf today were picked a year ago. Now, just think about that. How is that possible to preserve the crispness that we see in an apple? He said, if we went into that barn, you'd be dead in 3 seconds. It's full of carbon monoxide. We put the apples to sleep, and we can keep them there for a whole year. Now, that's one example of preserving something as simple as an apple a day that keeps the doctor away. I don't know anymore. We have to wash that produce when we get it home. One other example, as we're talking about quality of food, I used to pick up bananas in Galveston, Texas, where they came in. No bananas being grown in North America. We all know that. And when I brought those bananas in, They were obviously very green, and we had to have them transported very quickly to the receiver, to Loblaws. And the areas that they store bananas in are only ever opened once a day, and that is to take the bananas out for the daily shipments going out, and to put the shipment that just arrived, and then they treat them with gas. They gas those bananas to speed up the ripening. It's tragic to think about the chemicals that are being put on our food right now. We've got to be aware of that. And I'm really hopeful that with a significant shift at the White House, we're going to see some of that being exposed and hopefully remedied.
Yeah, exactly. Like we need to not just complain about, the price of whatever, the produce, or we need to be lobbying our politicians, because it really starts there. They can make a change so that we're not beholden to having to keep this whole rat race cycle of, well, if you've got a headache, you need a Tylenol, and then the Tylenol really can cause, problems in your stomach. So you need to take a neutralizer for that. And then that can maybe cause some problems in your liver. So after a while, you may have to do something else. And it just goes on. And you can get into this routine of having to take one drug after the other and the other. And when you look at how many billions of dollars just on the sale of Tylenol, let alone prescription drugs, it is crazy. And I used to know a pharmaceutical rep that sold, that tried to promote a certain kind of drug to the doctor. That was his whole job. He made a 6-figure income just going from doctor's office to doctor's office and showing him, this new drug that was out there, encouraging him the next time he had a patient that needed it to think about him. And you know what? He can leave behind a brand new leather briefcase. And yeah, like you said, the doctor, when he's really busy, really tired, and he's thinking, now, which of the 3 or 4 drugs should I prescribe to my patient? He's going to have this, even if it's subconscious, he's going to have a psychological subconscious reaction to say, oh, I'll recommend that drug. And that's cha-ching in that particular pharmaceutical's pocket. We really need to take a look, though, at saying, what can you do that's healthy and natural to take care of your health so that you're not really accessing the disease care system that we have? It's really disease care. It's not health care. It's disease care. You wait until you get a disease, then you go to the doctor and you try to get rid of some of those symptoms, or at least tell the body, don't tell me that I'm in pain. So we block the pain signals from our body from getting to our head that registers, oh, I feel pain. But we're not addressing the root of the problem. And one of the things that is the big war out there is, do supplements really help, or are they just going through you and into the toilet? Well, Carl, we need to do a segment on just that, on just how do you know if you're getting any value out of your supplementation? My doctor, who's a specialist, bone density specialist, told me I need to take vitamin D at least 5,000 IUs. You know what? That's almost 100 times more than what our government tells us that we need to take. They say, oh, maybe take 250 or 400 IUs, and he's telling me to take 4,000 to 5,000 IU. There's something wrong. There's a block between what this doctor knows and what our medical system is telling us.
I think in the expedience of society, we live in this fast-paced society. We like our drive-through food. We like our microwaves. We want to take a pill that will cause us to lose weight and another one to gain weight if we have to gain weight. Our bodies are the most incredible creation I can think of, as I have now become more acquainted with health because of my involvement with the company Lifeway. I've really started to understand and appreciate that this body, this clay, this jar of clay that I live in, is an amazing thing, that it continues to function under the siege, under the pressure of the most unhealthy foods we've ever eaten, and still we function. But there's an answer. There's an antidote to it. There is a remedy. We got to get this crap out of our bodies. And I don't just mean excrement. I'm talking about the stuff that is hidden into the cells of our bodies and sitting there like some sort of a sinister being that's going to attack one day. And then we don't know what to do. And then we're back at the doctor with more pills. Judy, we got to get that body back in shape.
Yes, and you asked about glutathione and carnosine earlier, and let's swing right back to that question. What is that? Well, we haven't even been taught properly in our schools, let alone doctors in their medical training, that the master antioxidant that helps protect that apple from turning brown, or the oxidation from happening and bumping up against our cells and causing the cells to turn brown or shrivel. It's glutathione. Your liver actually makes glutathione if it has the right raw ingredients, but we're not getting a lot of the raw ingredients. That's why we need to look at supplementation with L-glutamine, or I found that LifeWave actually has developed a wearable non-transdermal patch that stimulates the liver to make more glutathione in the levels that it used to when you were younger. When you have enough glutathione, Carl, it actually works to stop that oxidative stress on our body, which means less pain, less aches, less brain fog. So we need the glutathione. And if our liver is full of toxins from all the stuff that we've talked about, from all the foods and the additives, then we need to realize that glutathione at the same time detoxifies and helps our liver produce more of the glutathione, which is a longevity type of an antioxidant.
You know, but talk to the people out there that have impatience built into them, where they say, well, I tried it, it didn't work. Is it safe to say on the whole that the natural path to healing is going to take more time than the more so-called efficient direct assault that treats really the symptoms but not the cause?
Right. So yes, a drug will get you a reaction within minutes, hours, days, let's say. But when you're using something natural, it's not like taking a big, huge hammer and hitting on a little ant. We don't want to do that to the body. So using something natural will take a little longer. So we have to be patient, as you said, and work with the body. The body has the ability to heal no matter how old you are if you give it the right materials. And so, yes, I really can say that you can be 92 and get a wonderful response if you treat the body right and give it the raw materials that it needs to heal itself. You will always be able to heal as long as you've got breath in your body, because you have stem cells in your body, and those stem cells that your body has is what repairs and replaces the old tissue every day of your life. In 7 years, you are actually a new you. Everything in your body, the cells in your organs, in your bone, and your skin has been replaced. So you need
and we sometimes call them, we call them master cells as well. But what they are is the building blocks of the body that can go to where the body most needs it. And as a qualifier to everything we share here on Age Reversing Health, we are not doctors. We're not your doctor. We're sharing insights of technology that is not commonly found out on the market. Our legacy media is no help to us to give us information. You have to go to places like this, podcasters like ourselves out there trying to trumpet a message of hope to people to say, don't be tempted by the quick fix. So long people have been duped into get rich quick schemes. Well, there's no get healthy quick scheme either. Some of the people who do experiment and use the LifeWave product get immediate responses. And we're thankful for that percentage. And it may be as high as 40%, but I think it's personally less than that. But if you are committed to anything, you know that it's the long game that counts. You got to be in it. Investors will tell you that you got to be in it for the long game. If you're a day trader, you're going to win here and lose there. If you're in and out of things that don't seem to work because you grew impatient with it, you're not going to advance. But LifeWave is a company committed to natural health. It's one of the things that I really admired about it when I first came into contact with it, because I thought, non-transdermal? Well, how does that work? Well, this technology that you're speaking about is so advanced. So just speak for a few minutes about how this simple patch that you put on the body really does something to the body. How does that happen, Judy?
Yeah, it's really quite a fascinating. It's using what we see out in nature. When the sun hits your skin, it can make vitamin D. When the sun hits a leaf on a tree, it makes chlorophyll. So when you put the patch on, instead of having the sun be part of it, the patch uses or depends upon your own body heat called infrared light. And that goes right into the patch and gets reflected back into your body in a proprietary low-level type of a light wave. And that's what stimulates these systems in your body. It might stimulate your immune system. It might help your GHK copper peptide, which then stimulates your stem cells. You are able to actually have this photobiomodulation or this phototherapy patch on your body in the form of something no larger than a toonie, and yet it's large enough that it will modulate through your whole body and cause your body to start to heal itself.
Yeah, the amazing thing about this product, and there's some big words that we throw out, but really it's about utilizing the light and the heat of the body. The product itself is systemic. It treats the whole body from acupuncture points in the body or wherever you personally, place that patch. And what I like so much, Judy, it's completely safe. There are no contraindicators involved here. This product, and we have pediatricians that are using this with children. And we know children are pretty vulnerable, like the elderly. So we know if it's safe enough to be used on young children, it's safe enough to be used on older people. You're absolutely right. It's not too late to try something. And the quality of your life, just think about that. We like to often ask people, if you could change one thing about your health or the health of a loved one, what would it be and what difference would it make? Well, quality of life is everything. Judy, in the last 2 minutes, there is a banner, info at Things That Matter, along the bottom here. And we want our viewers to get in touch, and I will certainly direct them to you. Info at thingsthatmatter.ca. But give us some closing marks and some hope for people out there that are really looking for hope.
Yeah, there's a lot of hope out there, and I'm happy to help them to get started. Just get started. Dip your toe in the shallow end of the pool and start something that's natural. It's going to make a difference in your life. And I just personally, after my 38 years, have found that the LifeWave wearable patch technology is the safest and easiest and most affordable way to really help your health.
All right. So once again, info at thingsthatmatter.ca is how you can get a hold of myself, how you can get a hold of Judy. And we're committed to coming here every Thursday at the same time, which is 7 o'clock on the Manitoba clock, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. And folks, if you like what you've seen here, if you think that what we have shared with you has benefited you, please like and share it. We are purveyors of good news. We are trying to offer hope to some people that have all but given up. And I'm really distressed when I hear about people that say, well, I don't want to do it anymore. And it's so sad, because that life that we're supposed to live, pressed down, shaken, overflowing, you can have it. You honestly can have it. And I love seeing the facial expressions of people that said, wow, I'd all but given up. And then someone said, hey, have you tried LifeWave? So, Judy, thank you so much for all that you do, for the people that you serve, for your commitment to this industry of natural health. And we'll look forward to having you on back again soon. Thank you so much for your time, Judy.
Thanks, Carl.
All right. Now, that ends our age reversing health.